Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, your host, and here is my question for you. Copywriting. Do you know what that is? And do you know what it means? And do you know the importance of it? Well, if you don't, then today's your day because you're going to learn a lot. But if you do, well, let's talk about what you can do to improve your copywriting. So without further ado, Rachel, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Hello, my name is Rachel Allen. I'm so excited to be here. I run a company called From The Blue Copywriting, where I make words make money. In more of a LinkedIn speak, I'm a marketing strategist and a copywriter.
Okay, but you have to tell us how you got into this because like your origin story, it was really cool. So tell us about that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't ever plan to do this. I didn't know what copywriting was until the day that I started doing it. So I went to school for journalism, and did the whole process, like journalism, double major, 4.0, interned at NPR. I was like ready to go. And then I graduated into the 2008 recession, and of course, no one was hiring. So I sent out 200 resumes, and the only job I could get was unpacking boxes at Old Navy, on the 5 a.m. warehouse shift. And I was like, so it was not what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I stuck it out for 6 months. And then in my 22-year-old brain, I was like, well, like, what's the furthest I can get away from Tennessee? And the answer to that is Hong Kong. So I bought a plane ticket and I left. Also, being 22, I didn't get a work visa and didn't have any kind of plan. So I landed there with like $200 in my bank account and I had to make rent. So I started Googling like how to make money online, which is like slightly less idiotic in 2008 than it is now, but very slightly. And I found this like freelance gig for a copywriting, and I had no idea what it was, and I was pretty sure it was a scam, but I gave it a try, and they paid me the $3.25 they said they would. I was off and going.
That was even, I thought $5 an hour in 1994 was bad.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I was making like 20 cents an hour when I first started doing this. It was not financially worth it.
So what made you decide to keep going though?
I was so enamored by the thought of being able to write and have people pay me, because that never occurred to me that that could like happen outside of a like a W-2 type job. And it felt so easy and so fun, and I got to learn stuff all the time. And so it played really into a bunch of my strengths and like interests. And just the thought of having that possibility to like see how far I could take it and see how much I could earn and see if I could actually make it work was just really intriguing to me.
I love that. And so now that we have Chat GPT, because I'm the most non-creative person ever. Like I look at all my kids, they're these gorgeous artists, and I'm like, here's my stick figure. All right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when it comes to words, my ex-husband was super creative, but I'm this logical. I remember trying to write a poem for him for our anniversary once, and to get things to rhyme, he was in tears just because of how cheesy, ridiculous it was. It didn't make, it was just so bad. I wish I could find that. So with AI now here, and it's like AI has become one of my best friends, but have you noticed a decrease, or do you just implement it and use it in your life and people still come to you because they're like me, and even ChatGPT is not that creative?
Yeah. So when LLMs like first had their big sort of blow up, what, like 18 months ago now, there was a 3 to 4 month period where everybody was like, copywriters, we don't need them. But I've been doing this for 17 years and I've seen this happen in different cycles. You know, if it's not LLMs, it's SEO changes or whatever. You can trace it all the way back. So I knew that it was going to circle back around, and I've seen that. So the way that I treat it is it's a really good marketing intern. And that's like, it can bang out first drafts, it can be a good thought partner. I don't like incorporate it mostly just because I'm faster than it so far. But I do have a lot of clients who want me to bring it into their projects, and I have no problem with that because, like, I will happily manage a human intern. I will happily manage a robot intern. It doesn't matter to me. And I think that what I'm seeing is it's a really good filter, you know? So people who are kind of okay copywriters are having a really hard time, but people who have been doing it for a really long time and they're really great at it, I have not seen a lot of issues.
And that makes sense because just yesterday I was trying to set up an oil change for my car and they go, "Hi, Charisse, this is your bot," and I hung up on her after a while because I
Yeah,
was so annoyed. I'm like,
totally.
forget it. So I know that human cannot be replaced by a robot.
Yeah.
It's so different. And you have the ability to think about things and listen to what the person has to say. Whereas the AI, when I use it, they keep spitting out similar type things. And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking
Mhm.
for.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't get nuance, it doesn't get irony, it doesn't understand,
Yeah.
when I'm talking with a client, a lot of times I can sense that there's something they're not saying, and I'll just kind of like look at them and see if I can get into it, and eventually it will come out and they'll say something like, "I feel like you read my mind." And I was like, "No, I saw it in your eyes, but I had to wait and see where we were going." And a robot just can't do that.
No, that's true. Okay, so I told our listeners that we would explain what copywriting is, and we didn't do that. So what is copywriting?
Copywriting is writing that is done to persuade. So, another way that I describe it sometimes is it's giving people all the information they need to say yes to something.
I have been studying under the tutelage of some people that they always talk about the hook, the story, the offer. And
Yeah.
it was Russell Brunson, right? He's this traffic secrets up there. And so it's the hook, the story, the offer. And the hook is the copywriting. If you don't get somebody to stop the scroll and to
Hmm.
hook them, then they're just going to keep going.
Right.
So that's the part that you do, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think actually all of that sort of ties into copywriting. So, hook, story, and offer, the way that you format those and make them play well together, they're all just sort of different elements of the same thing because ultimately it's just smoothing that road of like, okay, what do they need to know before they can say yes to whatever it is I want them to do, whether that's buying something or feeling a certain way or knowing something they didn't know before.
That's true. And then, yeah, getting them to see that it's this irresistible offer that they can't have, can't do without.
Yeah. Or equally showing them that, like, hey, this is absolutely not for you. Keep on
Yeah.
walking. Like, don't
Yeah,
waste your time.
that's true. Because the worst
Yeah.
thing is you get clients that you don't want to work with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Or angry people who have bought your product and they hate it, like dealing
Mhm.
with refunds is a hassle.
Nope, I agree. What do you help? Like, obviously, you write the copyright, but with
Mhm.
mompreneurs, because you said that you work with several, what do you do with them?
So I find that the things that are unique about mompreneurs is that they're uniquely strapped for time and they have a lot of pulls on their mental energy. A friend of mine actually recently said this quote. Her name is Mary Williams, so I can attribute her. But she said, "I see so many women trying to build their businesses in 15-minute increments." And I was like, if that does not strike a chord, and I see that especially with mompreneurs. So the first thing I do is I really listen and I take as much off of their brain as I can. So I just say, "Tell me everything. It doesn't matter like the order. You don't have to have it right. It doesn't have to sound good. Just tell me what's happening and what you want." And then I take that and I can organize those thoughts. So now they're not taking up space on your brain. I can say, like, okay, well, here's what I'm hearing in that. Here's what I recommend we do. Does that sound like it's in line with what you were wanting? Yeah, no, we recalibrate. And then I say, just tell me the story. Like, what are you doing? What do people need to know? How do you want them to feel? And so my goal is to make it always feel like a really casual conversation because the last thing I want any client to do is to have to come and work on a call with me. I want us to just chat, and then I sort of pull that all together and then hand them their words back to them, sort of polished up and, made a little prettier and made a little more persuasive. And then they just go off into the world and use it and hopefully get the clients and sales they want.
So, what I'm hearing you say is that I can word vomit on you and tell you
Yes.
all that stuff. Because as an entrepreneur, like we all have squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. It's not that we have ADD, but it's probably. So, being able to say, here's what I want, like make it happen, and I can walk away to the next thing or to go feed my kids or
Yeah.
take the dog out, right? And so you can then take all that information and put it into something that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that way you don't have to worry about it. You can just go do whatever it is you need to do. And I really find, or I've had the feedback given to me that it's just really a beautiful experience of being seen. Because I think a lot of moms also, they are so relegated to the role of mom. And to have someone be like, no, I see you, Charisse. Like I see you and what you're doing has apparently been very transformative.
Okay, so do you also do like emails? Do you set up the emails? I mean, tell us all of your services.
Yeah. Oh, all of them from beginning to end. All right. 4-hour podcast.
I know.
The short version is I do everything from the very high level, like marketing, branding, strategy, which is like I have an idea, I want to sell something, but I don't know how to make other people care, or like I don't know the messaging for that,
Mhm.
all the way down to like post on LinkedIn for me because I don't want to.
Really? That too.
Yeah, I do social media management. I do launch support. So if it's like, hey, I had a client who was selling skincare, and it's like they launch twice a year, and I'm like, okay, well, here's your plan. That way you can hire me once to make the plan, and then you just follow the plan. Don't worry about it. Just keep on going. Emails, product copy. If it goes on a product where you need a little description of something, basically, if it's words, I probably do it.
Wow. That is so good because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be super vulnerable and I try not to be, but I'm going to, well, actually, that's not true. I am. But when it comes to this, I'm going to be. And I think because I run this podcast and I talk about business and I'm a business owner, but because there's so many different things that I do, and it's like, okay, I really do have to start paring down because I don't have time anymore and I'm tired. So like this book right here, Flipping the Iceberg, like I've started this whole process and I've paid coaches and I've paid people and then I don't implement because I get busy with my real estate or I get
Right.
busy with this house that I'm trying to get on the market and it's
Right.
killing me. And so it's like, how much money am I losing because I don't have time to do it? Versus if I were to just hire somebody that's an expert in that field that can do it, it's going to be a lot quicker. And so
Yeah.
I think that sometimes people, they feel like they have to do it all themselves because they
Absolutely.
don't want to pay somebody. Or like for me, I just painted this whole entire house. It took me a month. It should have
Oh.
taken me like because every time I got started, my kid would call me at school and it's 40 minutes away. Like, Mom, can you come pick me up? Because, or Mom,
Mm.
or we got out of school early, which was yesterday. I'm like, yeah, you know? And so it's like I could have paid somebody 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand. And if my mortgage payments were expensive, I could have saved money, right?
Right.
So I think that people, listeners, when you're thinking, I got to do it myself because I don't have the money or I don't want to hire, it's like, what is your opportunity cost that you're losing
Mm.
by not hiring that person?
Oh, yeah. I love that you frame it that way. One other thing that I would like to just remind listeners is that it's not your fault if you can't do all that stuff because there's so many marketing courses and
Mhm.
90-day planners and all that kind of stuff that say like, hey, you can and should do the same level of marketing as somebody with an entire marketing team. And that's just not fair. It's not a personal failing. It's just you're not a marketing team.
Yeah. And the stress to take it off, like, here's my hat.
Right?
I crown you.
Right, exactly. I
So,
often talk about being the marketing grown-up in other people's businesses because it's like, yeah, I just need another grown-up in the room, man.
yeah.
Like, I just need somebody to take this off my plate.
Mhm. And to collaborate with people, like there's more energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like just talking to you, I'm like, oh, you can take care of it,
Yeah.
because it's not something that, I mean, as entrepreneurs, especially for solopreneurs, that we're spending so much time by ourselves. And if we can collaborate with other people and we feel supported, we feel energized, and it works. And so I think that sometimes if you're some people think I have to hire a full-time assistant. Well, can that
Mm.
assistant, are they good at the copywriting? Are they good at posting things? Are they good at this? Or do you hire specific people to do different things
Right.
for about the same price or sometimes less?
Yeah, maybe you get a couple of different people and you hire someone to coordinate those people for
Yeah.
about the same price. I've done that on several teams as well.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm done pitching you. No, I'm kidding. But it really is true. So let's talk about email marketing because we
Yeah.
talked about this on previous podcasts that I've had. But do you feel like how valuable do you feel like it is?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So about every 5 years, everyone on the internet says email marketing is dead and, don't even bother. No one wants emails anymore. It's so my take on it is that email marketing is not dead. People aren't tired of email as a medium, but they are very tired of being treated badly via email. Because I mean, how many just broadcasts do we get that are just sent out to us randomly? It's just they're tired of lazy email. So when done correctly, it's actually very valuable. In my case, I average like 62% opens and about 15%
Wow.
click-throughs. Yeah, for mine and my clients' emails. I have a friend who's doing this amazing marketing campaign that's part scavenger hunt, part murder mystery, but via email. So you can do some really effective things with it, but you just have to not be boring.
That's really interesting. Well, and I think sometimes when we get bombarded, like my work email has become something that I'm like, oh, spam, spam, spam. One person that sends you 3 emails a day, it's not going to be
Hard pass.
like, it's just, I'm starting to delete those. And then it says, would you like to unsubscribe? Yeah,
Yes, in triplicate. 3 times yes.
because you haven't opened it. I know.
Right. Right.
Yes. All right. With the spam, let's talk
Mhm.
about that
Yeah.
because how do you not get marked spam? Do you have to use MailChimp or can you just use your Gmail account? Like, what do people need to know?
So, generally speaking, unless you are doing like extremely high touch one-to-one stuff, you want some kind of email platform so that you don't get marked as spam. So, whether that's MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Kit, those are probably the main three people use. You can get really squirrely with some fancy ones, but like just stick with those, they're fine. If you are doing like if your business is ultra boutique and you only work with, say, 5 clients and you're only emailing what, 15, 20 people a month? Sure, email them from your personal account as long as it's not something weird. It needs to sound a little bit like your business or it needs to be your name. You can't have, llama72 at hotmail.com and expect people to want to give you money because that's just unprofessional. So, unless, of course, you work with llamas, I don't know, maybe that's a different thing. But generally speaking, you want to do those platforms, you want to make sure that you have your double opt-ins so that people have to do that really annoying little email thing where they're like, yes, I did want to subscribe to that list because that helps people, that helps the platforms know that you're not spam. And just make sure your headlines or your subject lines actually sound like a person instead of like some sort of annoying bot wrote them. And you'll generally be fine.
Interesting. So let's talk about the opt-ins
Yeah.
because it's like I have email addresses from people who've opted in on this platform, this platform, this platform, but now you
Mhm.
want to merge them, then
Yeah.
like, is that possible?
Generally speaking, as long as they are mostly from the US, it's pretty chill. If you have clients from or people on your list from other countries, particularly England or the EU, they have specific rules with GDPR and like data use protections. So if you have a really international list, it's worth emailing everybody again just to be like, hey, do you still want to be here? Just checking. And that way you have the confirmation. But if you're mostly US, as long as they signed up through a platform and you didn't like buy their list from somewhere or you didn't, I don't know, go to your local library and like snake email addresses off a sign up sheet, then you should be fine. The place that I do see people fall down with this a lot is if they work with clients and then they add their email address to their list without asking them. Because, like, you think it'll be cool, you think they want to get your emails, maybe they do. But if you've manually added a bunch of emails, that tells the platform you might have bought them from somewhere. So they get a little icky about that.
Interesting. Okay, so what are some of the marketing trends that you see today?
The biggest one that actually makes me really happy is a swing back towards human-centered marketing and like analog stuff. I know a bunch of people who are doing zines. My business partner in a different business I run actually we just did like a magazine, like a 150-page, get it in the mail, put it on your coffee table magazine. And I see even like the higher paid offers are focusing on things that won't scale. So I have a client who sends flowers to all of her clients on their birthday. Another one recommends a book to them and like a specific book for them every month. So it's the human stuff that like you couldn't possibly get a robot to do. You can't really even get a VA to do it. That makes people feel very seen and very valued.
Yeah, I like that. And that's kind of, I mean, I think that's what I attribute my success with my real estate is I do like reach out to them and try to every quarter, just calling them or talking to them or sending a note. So yeah, it really is that human touch. Or if they have a baby, go take him something.
Yeah, totally. And it can be something very small. The most successful email sign up campaign I ever did was I did something I was calling amuse bouches, where I said, hey, if you sign up for my email, I'll send you an amuse bouche. I didn't say any more. But what I did was anybody who signed up, I researched them for like 5 minutes, and then I sent them a personal video saying something that I thought was really great about them. Because like we never have people just being like, you're awesome because of this. And people loved it.
It's a mouche bouche.
Yeah, it's a little like appetizer that's just one bite.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like amuse, bouche is mouth, like a little mouth amusement.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so you've helped people scale, you've helped people build, you've helped create. So what, and you created on your own from $3.25 you are today. So if you could go back to that girl in China that was needing $200, now know what you know, what do you wish you would have known back then?
I mean, the first response, which sounds flip, but is actually very correct, is like figure out how to pay your taxes earlier. I didn't know how that was supposed
Yeah.
to work, and so I had to like figure that out fast, and it was not pleasant. It involved accountants from two countries. It was a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, because I just didn't know. I had no
Yeah.
business background. I didn't have any sort of financial literacy like that. So I was like, well, I guess I messed that up. Apologies, IRS, but we're cool now. But I think the other thing, I would just tell her that like your instincts here are there's so many voices in this space, and there's so many things that are saying, do it this way, do it that way. And I think I've just always felt a little bit off from that. And those are the things that have paid off for me. So anytime I'm like, I look at something and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna go over here. It just works out.
So trust your gut.
Yeah,
Know your
absolutely.
taxes. Nobody has ever given that advice before. No,
Trust your gut and pay your taxes. That's a t-shirt right there.
but it's true because
Yeah.
like I'm actually meeting with my accountant at the end of this month for like the 2025 year to
Yeah.
plan. And I haven't done it yet because I've never had it ready, but I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I actually can do this year. He's like,
Nice.
let's meet. And I think that that's taxes are something that we don't talk about as business owners. I'm sorry. That's something else you should outsource, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely. Unless
they
you just
know the
love it.
loopholes. There
Yeah.
was one that I went from a 20 and owing to getting a refund this year.
Fantastic.
So there's some loopholes that accountants know, and they're legal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't do it if it wasn't.
Yeah, totally.
That's something that you should hire out as well and make sure that you get it done and take it serious.
Yeah. And I think that really speaks to a bigger point that I often see with particularly women-owned businesses, is that they are treated, and we often treat them, we ourselves treat them as like, oh, but this is just my little thing that I do, my little hobby that I do on the side, or it's just like my little business. And it's like, no, I mean, women-owned businesses account for 4.3% of the US gross GDP. And frustratingly, we still earn so much less than male-owned businesses. And so that's what I just encourage everyone. It's like, no, your business is serious. If you are earning money, you have a business. And like you should be proud of that and treat that with the seriousness that it deserves.
And there's like open up a business. Like don't do it
Yeah.
out of your personal account and open up a
Yeah.
separate checking account under your
Yes.
business name because then it really does become a business. And there's lots of tax benefits to that.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, talk like liability protection, there's so many things. And I think if I think back to myself again at that time, that would all feel really impenetrable to me. Like I would have no idea where to start. But it actually is a lot easier than you think. I mean, you can really just walk into your bank and say, like, give me your best business checking account with no fees. And there's so many ways, whether you go with, a local lawyer or LegalZoom or whatever, you can incorporate a company very quickly.
Yeah. And there's some out there, like I can go to the commission, the state commission, and open it myself for like
Yeah.
$22 to register the name, and then $55 after that, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. But I almost made the mistake one time when they said to renew. It takes
Mm.
me like they send me a postcard and like, hey, renew here. And I went to pay $185, which I've never done before to
Huh.
renew business. I'm like, this isn't right. Because it should just be $18. And so
Yeah.
my point is be careful of those online companies that they'll do it for you, but they're going to charge you. And it's
Yeah.
not hard to set up yourself.
Yeah, it's really just paperwork. As like read it slowly, talk to a lawyer if you're really that worried about it, but it's pretty simple.
Absolutely. Good advice. Good advice. Okay. And you are a mother, right? Well, you have a stepson.
Hmm.
So working through this because let's talk about this. This isn't a
Yeah.
conversation we have a lot, but what's the word I'm looking for? When you have, because we think of him as our own, but you know what I mean, as a stepson. How is that being a mom sometimes like trying to fill that role, but the child might come in and like, nope, I don't want you
Yeah.
or something. So give us one piece of advice you would have for being a stepmom?
I mean, I don't know. I can say what's worked for me. I hesitate to give advice because I feel like I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but it works so far. I approached this with the respect that I would have wanted as a child myself. It was a little bit of a contentious situation between me and his mom, and I got the sense that she was sort of pressuring him to not get to know me and to not be close to me. And I just sat down and I said to him, I was like, "Look, I am always here for you. I am never going to push you to do anything you don't want." Because it's my belief that in this situation, you get to be the kid, and whatever you want to approach this as, that's fine with me. And we've sort of grown into that over the years. And I think that just having the space to just approach it in his own time and in his own way, and knowing that I'm not going to come in and be like, you have to call me mom and let me get all up in your life, teenage boy. I think that really just demonstrated a lot of respect that he was able to trust me, and we're eventually became very good friends.
And I think it's the communication though. Like you
Yeah.
remove that awkward block, right? And it's very, I can imagine as a mom, you don't want to feel replaced, right?
Yeah, of course.
But to the child, you're never going to be replaced. Like moms,
Right.
you're never going to be replaced. You're their mom. But to have an extra person, like I look at my kids and they have two dads, or that it's like a bonus if it's a
Yeah.
good relationship.
Yeah, and that was my hope, because I mean, we started out, I think the only thing he wanted in the beginning was, he was like, "Will you pay my cell phone bill?" And I was like, "Sure, that's fine. Whatever. Here's your $20 a month." And just to show up reliably in that way, and not push for more and not push for less, and just be like, "I will just be steady for you." That was the best gift I think I could have given as a grown up.
While the two parents are sometimes fighting, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
yours is, but you can be that stability where it's like,
Right.
as long as you don't get emotionally involved. And so, I mean, every situation is different. I get that. And it really
Yeah.
depends. But to remember ultimately what's in the best interest of the child. And that is to
Right.
have a relationship with the man who married this woman and
Yeah.
brought him in. It's important to have that support because otherwise the kid feels so conflicted.
Exactly. And that was the last thing. I was like, my drama should affect you 0%. Like, you do what you need to do, and you let me know who I need to be to you for you to feel okay.
Yeah. No, I can tell you, I mean, I think he was 31, my stepson, and like, I'm not old enough to have a 31-year-old. Well, he's actually 36 now, right?
Oh,
And so
wow.
I'm not old enough to have him.
Yeah.
And so, but he came out here one time to visit us. So we paid his way so that he wouldn't have to. And the whole time he was here, his mom, now he's 31. His mom was sending him texts, and I'm not even going to go into detail what they were,
Yeah.
but it was horrible stuff. So the whole time he's here, he's not able to enjoy, or he's getting bombarded. Like he's 31, let him like.
Yeah.
But it's situations like that it makes such a difficult and awkward situation. So good for you that you
Yeah.
are there for him.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's a new adventure every day, but so far so good.
Well, if our listeners wanted to, like they're listening and saying, "Oh my gosh, I need copywriting," or "I don't want to do it," or "I need help," how would they get a hold of you?
You can find me at Bolt from the Blue Copywriting. I'm on LinkedIn too, or you can just email me at hello@boltfromthebluecopywriting.com, and I will email you back.
Rachel, thank you so much for being on.
This has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And Unbreakable Moms, it is about your message. You've got to hook people to get your clients. And if you're having a hard time with that, then maybe it's time that you reach out to Rachel. In the meantime, if you like this, please like, subscribe, share it, and have a great day. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.